Hi everyone. We're going to just start building a better business in 10 steps. So with this, it's just going through 10 steps that we'll be looking at, but I will just start by saying hello. And also just the core purpose of their accountancy. We have our strap line of your partner in finance. So we are your partner in finance. And we look to sort of help businesses thrive. But the way we do that is we help businesses grow through things that we can do, not just the compliance as well. And we look at using technology to make life easier for everybody. I mean, because we came to cloud accounting when everybody wasn't even thinking about it, and we keep moving that. We look at different technology that can help different businesses because it is different for each business sometimes, and we use it in our bookkeeping as well to make life easier for everybody. And then we also help our clients sort of gets what they want from the business, because not everybody wants the same thing, but it's financial, so more money, or just to be able to go on holidays or whatever that is. It's time, so making sure they're not, helping with them, so they're not having to do all the bookkeeping or whatever it is to get to free them up, to focus on what they're good at or what they want to be doing, like with friends. And then mindset. So with mindset is a big one. Obviously compliance, we take away the burden of worrying about HMRC companies has, because we do that, but there's other things within that as well we look at doing. So that's Naylor Accountancy Services core purpose. We are running a webinar schedule. So we have a webinar schedule, and within that, we've already done Know Your Numbers in December. We've done the 3 essential tools for business in January, and now this is Build a Better Business in 10 steps, basically. So that's this one. We're doing Get Paid in March, so that's how to get paid from your customers, clients, and then Boost Your Business Wealth in April, and then Reclaim Your Time in May. And we're going to have more going throughout the year. So from June to December, there will be other ones as well. And they're actually on the website. I think all of them are on the website. If you want to have a look, go to the About and go to the events, and it's all in there. So I love to just have a quote. We love at Naylor just to working with small business owners and just getting more, helping them get more from the business. And we were looking at new things that we can do. One of them is profit first. We're looking at the moment, but this is just a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Just a thought for the session. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Now, the big emphasis on this is learning. So learning's a massive thing that you'll see that in the 10 steps as well, but it's also acting on those learnings at the same time. But it's just important to note there's no magic bullet, that there is no magic bullet. And a lot of it is getting into a rhythm of doing things and actually making sure that action's taken to improve the business. But there's no substitute just for hard work and working on your business, not just in it, which means just doing the tasks. You need to be stepping out and looking in. This is what I've done. I've got 2 businesses in my businesses, and it's been key to actually being able to grow both businesses and enable me to actually think on the business. And it's working in synergy with your accountant. So you've got your client managers if you are part of Naylor Accountancy Services, and it's working with them, but actually looking at what they can offer to help you, other things as well if you need that support. So the idea with Naylor is that we want to be able to do overall support. We have what we call the Naylor Accountancy Pyramid, which is on our website, just on the homepage. But where it goes up the pyramid, the more that you want support in your business and your firm. So it's just looking at, but a better business is one that delivers on the 3 freedoms which I spoke about, mind freedom, financial freedom, and time freedom. And today we're just going to look at the 10 steps that you can take to achieve these 3 freedoms. I mean, it's not a magic bullet, like I say, things to be thinking about. So what I'd recommend is you just take some notes. So you get 3 things from this. That's brilliant. For me, whenever I go to anything, I always take notes, but I always want to have at least 3 actions at the end of something for me to do. So I hope you do get that. And there will be Q&As at the end. So just think about your business and just, you know, think about how and who is teaching you how to run a better business. You know, is it your solicitor, your bank manager? I mean, bank managers nowadays are so difficult to actually talk to anyway. And, you know, did you learn at school? Who did you think was the best person to teach you how to run a better business? And the things like that. So we as accountants can help, and we have a financial background which helps with that. And I'm hoping that we're already helping you, and if not, we can help you more. And just make sure you set aside time, you know, think about how to set aside time to think about things that you help to run a better business. But the thing is that what you've got to realize, you will be all very technical and the absolute experts in your business, and that's what you need to be as well. But in today's part, you want to be reflecting on what you are good at, and then what you might need to outsource or use other people for. And a simple business plan also does help move things forward. So the agenda today. Is we're going to go through the 10 steps. The what and the why. We're going to implement implementation of best practice. We'll talk about that, and then the next steps and options to support that are out there. And then there's questions for you guys. So please just, I really would like you to have 3 clear actions that you take from this, and you know, just for yourselves, basically. So that's what I would always recommend in any of these webinars or any learning that you do, like I said. So the first step is just get a clear and exact, you know, get very exact vision of what you want. So this is get clear on exactly what you want. Now that is critical. So it means that, you know, you might want to be a better, you know, mother or father, a leader, a life partner, whatever it is. I mean, there is things that you want to get clear on. Oops, yeah, I'm going to go back one. I'm jumping. But it's the be, do, have mindset. So it's what is it that you want to be, and what do you want to do, and what sort of have will you need for that? So what do you love doing? So both outside and inside work. Now that is quite critical, what you like doing, because if you like doing something and you can do it more, you will be better at what you do. So and what do you need to stop doing in order to do that? So a lot of the times we talk about a not to do list. So it's always worth creating a not to do list, that I don't want to be doing this. And then when you get a chance to realize who you can delegate it to, you can get that delegated or outsourced. So write down at least 3 things that you want to do more of, and 3 things you want to stop and pass on to others. So the stop to pass on to others is actually really important, because that frees up your time and everything as well. But the things that you want to do, so just for your perspective, for me, my thing that I really like doing is being what we call a visionary. So looking how to grow your business and see things forward and structure everything and build leadership teams. So that's what I really like doing, and also like learning. So those are things I like doing. That's why I've actually managed to step out of the doing and now focus on that in the businesses, because that's what I get my most enjoyment from. I'm not saying that's going to be yours, but that's what mine is. But have a look. You might be happy just doing the technical stuff or anything. It might be anything. It might be outside of work as well. And then just think about how many hours per week you will commit to each of these things that you love doing. And then the idea is that you think about how to take back control of, if it's out of control, it may not be, but of your life, and start with a commitment to the things outside of work that you love doing, and just write these down. I mean, for me, I love Taekwondo. I've been doing it since I was 15, so a long time. And yesterday I went to Taekwondo. It's an evening, I'm tired, but I do go. So 2 or 3 times a week, and I love it. It's exercise and everything like that. And it's also social. So for me, that's one thing I love doing. Also family. Those are some big things for me. But write 3 things down. And then what holidays do you want to have? And be specific and sort of imagine, get an image sort of implanted in your mind what that holiday is and where do you want to go and when, and write this down, and then look at blocking out time in your calendar when you return to work for when you take that time off. One thing we find with business owners is that they don't take time off a lot because they're worried if they're away from the business that work won't get done. They've got nobody to delegate to. It depends how obviously big you are. And it's critical that you take time off as business owners. It's so critical. You may not be in that category, but it is a big thing because what happens, and I see it in myself because I was one of them that took very little time off, is that when you do take time off, you refresh and you actually start thinking, you're able to think clearly of new things and everything, and you come back refreshed. It does take a little while getting back into work sometimes, but it's definitely worth that refreshing of the batteries, because that is very good. Well, it's something that you need to do as a business owner because you do need to refresh those batteries. And how then you look at you want to be thinking how much income do you need to deliver on your new life, what you're thinking of. But the whole point here is don't worry about how yet, just write the numbers down. Now, we are looking at something becoming profit first certified. And and this helps with all this, if you are looking down this way of income, it's looking at how you can get that income that you want. And it's looking at the percentages of your revenue that you need to be putting places. Now, this is a very good start of your plan to work out what you do need if you're not getting it from your business already, the income. So it might be you want to have a pension, you might want to have enough for a holiday, or just living, or you want to have a car, or you just want to be helping your kids go to university, or whatever it is, private school, whatever it is that you need. But write that number down, and then once you look at it and have it, everything that's written down, you start looking towards a plan to get there. It doesn't mean it happens overnight, but by doing that, you get the plan. And we'll be going into that in more detail. Now, so you each have your own sort of personal plan. So this is what we call a personal plan. And you do want that. So just have 3 things that you want to do, 3 things you want to get rid of, and then sort of how much you're thinking that you would need for that income, and how much time you'd need off. But it just makes this visible, make it visible to yourself and start working on a new way as soon, now basically. But just remember, you have a choice, and you're not a victim. And this is, I will do one on this mindset, but it's something called orbit. So you have a above the line and below the line. Below the line is where you don't want to be. That's a victim stage where you blame that you can't do things, or you deny that you can't do things, and then above the line is taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability. And that's where you want to be. That's like the victor. So you want to be on the top line. But I will be doing a video on that at some point, just because that's a really clear mindset thing, orbit. So I will go into that sometime with more detail. Unfortunately, we don't have time for all of these things today. So this is get clear exactly on what you want. So it's a vision of what you want, basically. So be open to change and new learning. So it's just if you go back, so how many new things sort of do as a 5-year-old child learn in a day, and how enthusiastically does he or she embrace the world of possibilities, and they have such a desire to learn and improve. I mean, I even see into my 15-year-old son right now. He's just a sponge. And my daughter is 18. They're doing GCSEs and A levels. But when they were younger, there was always the question, why? But how easy, do they give up? They don't. The why is that, as grown-ups, we forget the 5-year-old mindset and close our mind to new learning. I love learning, and that's one thing I've always done throughout my career. Even when I was in corporate world, I loved learning. And the more I learn, the more I know I don't know. And it's the same with the language, but it's always worth learning and learning. And you can learn so much from other people as well as books. And that's, from webinars, from talking to them, from coaching, whatever that is. And here is just my top 5 ways to learn. So resist the urge to hang out on your phone. Unless you're sort of reading something that will teach you something. So that's just to be present. So if you're in a room or anything, just be present. So read things. Don't just sort of, I see it in my son just watching YouTube stuff. He does learn from YouTube, so you can use that as a learning tool as well. But it's just, don't always just hang out on the phone. So doing everything, look at other things that you can do to interact with other people as well. Enroll in courses and workshops, and online or in person. I mean, you guys are on this, so that's perfect. So because you guys are on this, that's absolutely the right thing you want to be doing, because this is helping you in the learning and making sure that you are looking to move things forward. So I mean, and that's a great thing. So then you've got so read more. So like this girl, Hop Pop. So you read more. There's lots of books out there now. There are books that I'd recommend as well. So if you want to ask me at the end, but there's lots out there on leadership, on time management. Time management, I'll just give you a quick one. I don't think I've got it here right now. I've got too many up there. But there's Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It's a brilliant book on time management. It's tiny. We've done a book review with it in our leadership team, and it was really useful. And what you can see is so simple. But Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, I really recommend that for time management, because time management is so with time management, you'll find there's so many books out there. And the reason for that is because it's something everyone has a problem with, and there's no magic bullet. It's literally everyone has different ways of doing that. But look, think about it, both recreational and business books. So, 30 minutes reading each night. There's also audiobooks. So for me, you can do audiobooks. I do a lot of that. There's YouTube has lots on now as well. There's also something called Blinkist, which has books condensed into 15 minutes. It's a subscription model, so you have to subscribe to it. But things like that help you keep learning. And keep a journal of your learnings, so just so you could revisit it. So I do have a little black book that I have it in. I also now write in my iPhone on notes. So I have it, whatever the book is that I'm listening to or reading, and then I sort of put notes in there. And it's always good just to go back over it and see what there is there as well. And just know, and turn off the TV. So that's, lots of us spend lots of time on TV. I do watch TV at night. I watch it with the family, and I do enjoy it because it gets us all together just at the end of the night for half an hour, maybe an hour tops. But a lot of people spend a lot of time on TV. So just turn it off or do some learning. But it's on the learning bit. And start today. I mean, that's the big thing. Taking action is a big thing. And define where you are now. Now that's warts and all. So that's been very open and honest with yourself. So the first 2 steps were just about getting clear on exactly what you want, and then being open to change to a new learning. Because learning's great, but you also have to take action, which we will go into at some point later in this 10 steps. But the learning, if you then know things and how you might want to do things, it gives you more opportunities to make sure that you move down that road. But step 3 is about defining where you are now, and that's with everything, like all the issues that you've got. And we often overlook those, or we just focus on those, but you have good and bad things in every business. If you're using Google Maps to get directions, what does it ask you? It basically asks you a starting point. So you have to have a starting point. So you also have the destination, which is why we looked at things at the start, but have a starting point. So you need to know where you are now, so you can sort of tell. It will tell you how to get to where you want, because you can see where you are now. So if you're spending all the time in the business, doing everything in the business, not on the business, so you're doing all the work in the business, then as a technician, then you might, and the task, then that's where you are now. But you may want to step out of that a bit to get to work on the business and looking down a bit more at how things are going. Whilst it might seem obvious, it's just too often that, business owners try to make a plan without fully understanding where they're starting from. And this is what we see. So it's always good to know where you're starting from, to know what your destination is going to change, and your destination on your journey, what are going to change, or what's having to change in order to get there. And I do say warts and all, and I mean that you do need to have to be open and honest and accurately understand about the following. Basically, there's just 5 points. How aligned are owners, leaders? So this is the degree to which owners and leaders sort of aligned in their thinking. If they are asked independently where the business is headed, would they say the same thing? Now, this is you as a business owner. You're the owner, and any other leaders within that business that you own and you run. So are they aligned? So the big thing is to make sure that you are aligned in your thinking, because if you're not, they are the ones that are going to be doing a lot of the running of the business. You are just, you aren't doing everything. And then they need to be able to have your vision, your ways and everything in order to move that forward the way you want it to be. So you need to be aligned, or what you want to. So the way we do it at Nail Account Services is we create a vision in our leadership team. So it's everybody's vision. Obviously, I've created it originally, and then they've adapted it as the years have gone by, which actually they've actually grown my vision from what it was originally, because it was smaller than what they are perceiving it to be going forward. What activity is generating the current results? So the current level of activity that's generating the sales numbers, the returns you're achieving, basically, that's what we're talking about. It's not just about the sales numbers themselves, but it's also how many leads are generated a month, how many proposals are being written, accepted, what's your average sales value, how many sort of networking events are you attending in attending or running in a month. And so do you need to know this? And I mean, do you need this to improve? And the answer is yes, because you want to be looking at your data, know what you're doing, see how it's changing over time as well. And then extend the extent to which your team has bought into your plan, your culture, and your core purpose. So I shared our core purpose at the start, and is to be your business, your partner in business, finance, and sort of help you, business owners thrive through the support that we give. That's our purpose, and using technology and everything behind that. But without your team being on board, you will not sort of achieve the leverage that you need, basically, because you need a team in order to grow your business. If you're small now and it's just you, and you want to stay small, that's absolutely fine. But then it's worth just thinking about these sort of things anyway. So, for yourself, and if you do ever bring anyone in, but if you are growing and you're wanting to grow and you have team, this is a very big thing. So a study on the employee engagement it basically showed that only 30% of employees in companies were engaged, 52% were disengaged, and 18% were actively disengaged. Now, the actively disengaged is really not good. So studies also prove that business with engaged team members significantly outperform those without. So it is really key sort of to become aware of the engagement of your team in order to deliver the vision that you might, well, that you have and you create. How appropriate are your measures and reporting systems? So the appropriateness of measurement and reporting systems is key to sort of have in place to track your results. It's all very well just setting targets, but if you can't measure them, it's you're basically flying blind. So you do need that just to monitor how you're going, how you're doing, and just making sure that you're getting up to the target, to the plan as you're doing step by step. And your 5 biggest vulnerabilities. Sorry, I can't say vulnerabilities right now. So where are the things that are most likely to break in the near future? For example, poor systemization, not having them written down basically, or not having a flow of systems, high team member turnover, cash flow strains, or a weak balance sheet. So weak balance sheet might mean less cash, high debtors, so people that owe you money, things like that. So you're not getting cash in, which is going to be our next one. We're talking about cash, the next webinar. So just basically, as Google Maps asks you for your starting point before you make a plan, to head somewhere new, you must understand where you are right now and just skip this step of your peril. So you just, you don't want this. If you miss this step, it is sort of a bit of a concern, because you do need to define where you are right now, because otherwise it's a bit of a no, because you don't know where you're going to. Step 4. So to recap on the first 3 steps, it was getting clear on exactly what you want. Step 2 is about being open to change. Step 3 is knowing warts and all, and where you are right now. So that's what we've just covered. And then once you've done that, you're basically ready for the next step, which is making a clear plan. So just remember that the business is there to serve you. And that's what we see a lot in business owners, that there are business owners who the business is almost serving them. So they are the servant to the business rather than the business giving them what they want from life, which is why we wanted to talk about step 1, get a clear vision of exactly what you want. So how you want to, on how you want to work and the hours you are prepared to put in. So this helps you build a plan around what you want personally from the business. So basically, if you look at this, and if you have, so what you want to be doing is, if you need £100,000 per year to cover your living costs, then, and a family holiday, and that your overheads are currently 100,000, and then you've got a problem straight away. But then you need a gross profit of 200,000, because you're taking out 100, and you need 100 for a gross, for your overheads. So straight away you need a gross profit margin of 200, because you need to be taking that out of your gross. So the net and gross is basically what you have. So revenue excluding materials and contractors to create that, and then you've got all your costs below that, which gives you your net. So we're talking about gross, basically. So if your current gross profit margins is 50%, then your annual sales need to be £400,000. So that's basically £8,695,000 per week. Sorry, £8,695 per week. And if you plan to work a 46 weeks of the year, so you need to look at what you work as well. So you can see now why you need to understand your current situation. So you need to know where you are, And if you can improve the margins by 2% to 52%, you need to make, you know, £8,361 in sales per week. Now, this is all goes down to a bit like the profit first that we're looking at introducing shortly as well, where you look at where you are now, what you need to be doing to get to where you need to get that income that you want from your business. And you're looking at taking profit before all your other outgoings, because you move it on the dial a few percentage a quarter, basically. So the budget should form part of your plan, because it has to, because you do need a budget. Because if you don't have that budget, you don't know what you're going to have to earn in order to and do in order to get what you want from the business. So you need to just make sure you've got that plan linked directly to how your business will deliver on your personal goals. And this is where people don't always think it. You have to have your personal goals. So once you've set them, you know what you want to be doing. And you might not get there straight away. It might not even be, in the full year, because things might happen, but you know that you're going on that journey and you just making it better all the time. So increasing those percentages and keep it on a page. And, two-sided is what you want and the most of, if you can, just so that it's in two sides. So you're easily going to see it and look at it. And identify no more than 4 main goals for the year. Now, if you've got a big leadership team, you can have more. So you can have more, because they will take those on. But 4, more than 4 is too many if it's just you, and you'll struggle to achieve them. So 4 goals. And cascade, the annual goals into 90-day goals. So we do this in Naylor Accounting Services and the other business because everybody has a 90-day attention span, supposedly. So if you don't do a 90-day, actions and then reset them and have a meeting every 90 days with your leadership team and then reset those goals for the next 90 days, then they don't happen. So you have the 90 days goals and your targets and that you want, and then you look at that. So that's why it's a quarter. Identify the action that you need to complete, and then achieve those goals, basically. So you basically break up with those 4 goals, and in the quarters you look at what you need to happen in those. We say no more than 5 KPI indicators. Now, this is, I actually have 8, but 5 is what you're looking at. So the idea is you don't want many. We have a leadership team, so we do have some more, but you want 5 key indicators, and that really drive your business. And you may need to change these as you progress, because you will realize they're not quite the right ones. Like I'll just give a quick example. So we had VAT. We wanted VATs done way before the deadline on the 7th of the month. So it didn't happen when I first put these, and this is years ago, put in, they have to be done 2 weeks before, because everyone was saying, oh, the clients aren't coming back to us and everything. So what we changed it to was by the 20th of the month, before the VAT was due, you need to have 4 communications with the client by email or phone, and that's the KPI. So if you haven't got that, your KPI is down and there's a problem. By doing that, we made sure that our clients, and that's you guys, were actually delivering information in time, so that because the aim was to get all the VATs done by the 25th of the month. So that was our goal. That's what we had as a KPI, but it didn't happen until we did the 4 communications. So it's just, they may not be quite right, but you look further down the chain and see what can actually be delivering that. And then you want to share the plan with your team. So their personal career goals should be linked with your plan. So help them to define basically their own actions and KPIs. So you need the KPIs to link to the goals. And these should be recorded potentially in your JD as well, job description, but have these as goals for them. And then keep it visible. So keep the plan highly visible to your team and track your progress against the plan. And just celebrate any successes along the way, because that's one thing as business owners, we tend to focus on the negativities, things that aren't going well, but really we want to be looking at and celebrating the good things as well. With this, though, what I'd say is, so with this, what we have is, so we do this within Nail or Character Service. We've just done our annual strategic planning in the start of Feb. So we just did that. We are now going to be doing what we call a town hall, which is we will then let everybody know what our plan is. All of the leadership team have signed off on the plan because they created it with us, with me and everybody in the leadership team. So we then cascade it down. We may not give them all of the detail, but we let them know most of the detail so they understand what's happening, and we'll give them opportunity to talk about it. This is the rest of the team for Nail Accountancy Services. So we'll be doing that by the end of Feb, just so everybody understands where we are going, and they get the chance to ask questions on it as well. So that's keep the visible. Number 7 is review your plan at least quarterly. And this is the 90-day span of attention that we all have as humans. So make sure it's reviewed at least quarterly. What we do is when we have our quarterly review meeting, we look at our plan as a leadership team and we say, are we still happy with it? We might make a few little tweaks here and there, more on the annual one, because we do a forward 10-year plan, 3-year plan, and then a 1-year plan, a vision, and then a plan for the year, which has all of these goals and targets on and KPIs, and then we see if we need to just tweak it a bit. We don't tend to much, but we may have to. But just review it quarterly, and you have somebody independently hold you accountable, so that's a really good thing. Remember, a dream written down becomes a goal, and a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and then a plan backed by action makes it reality. So a plan backed by action makes reality. This is Greg S. Reed that said this. So a dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action makes it reality. And the whole thing is breaking down that written down goal and then making sure things happen, so you have somebody who's going to take action on those. Your business plan is basically your how-to guide to achieve what you want in your life and in your business, and it's the most just fundamental document in the entire business. So just make sure that you've got a good one. Make sure you look at yours, make sure you just adapt it if you need to, or make sure you create one if you haven't got one, because it is very critical. It's like, so the way I describe it is, we talked about Google Maps, you put in Google Maps your start point. If you don't know where you're going to, and you don't know, the routes en route, then you're not going anywhere. You're just carrying on. You're just doing what you're doing. So that means the business is just owning you rather than you serving you. You are serving the business rather than the business serving you. So if you have a goal, whatever it is, then you have that, and then you can see the route, and you've got it mapped out. You've got your goals for that year and everything mapped out. So that's make a plan, step 4. Have you ever sort of heard of the saying, start by getting the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus, and the right people in the right seats? Basically, we call it this. We have this as well. So we call it the 10 hats. The guy there's got the 10 hats. As a business owner, we have done a webinar on the 10 hats of the business, because as business owners, initially we have all of the hats, and then what we want to be looking at is how we can delegate things away. So just get the organizational structure right. You might have all of these hats at the moment, but what you want to be doing as you grow and as you have a team, leadership team, is create that team and then have things outsourced or have in-house, but whatever, but make sure you can see that structure, have the seats, and make sure they all know what the structure is. So we've just changed our structure slightly, after the last one, just because of some small changes. So we're going to be, and also because the acquisition we did. So so we now, we've got a Southampton office as well, which is really good. We've got a great team there on boarded, and they really part of our vision and everything. So we're going to just make sure everybody knows what our organizational structure is now, so that they're aware of it all. But making sure you've got the right people on the bus, that is so critical. So above this line, I don't know, here is the shareholder and directors. So that's the strategic. So and then you've got below is operational. So then they make it happen effectively. So that's your leadership. So the directors and leaders are the same potentially as well, because you sit in strategically as well as on the leadership team. And then you have all these different seats there. Now, what it means is that somebody might have more than those seats, call them seats. So those different seats there. And then as you grow, you might or get the expertise in, or you will actually get other people taking those off them. So step 5 is just getting your organization structure right. And this just should allow your revenue to increase without creating bottlenecks. The whole point is stopping bottlenecks. I was a massive bottleneck in Naylor, just because I did so much of everything. And it was my realization that I couldn't do everything. And I had to allow others to do it as well and delegate, because otherwise we weren't going to provide the service that we wanted to our clients. And I just couldn't deliver it myself to the quality we needed to either. And then also, as we've gone on, I've realized I like the strategic side as well. So I move up to that director set there. I'm also obviously shareholder, which you would be as well. So the bottom line sort of just return. So yeah, so don't, and yeah, it creates errors as well, being the bottleneck, because that's what, when I first started, I was doing absolutely everything. I was doing payroll, and this is back in 2012, 13, I think 12 actually. I was doing payroll, but I was actually doing that sometimes in the evening in front of the TV, because I had to spend time with the family. I was working far too many hours, and this is right when I first started, until I got some payroll person in, because that was the person that first got in, and then a bookkeeper. But I realized I couldn't do it, or I really couldn't. The organizational structure, it basically just shows the departments, what we call seats as well, of the business, and who's responsible, and the 10 hats here. I mean, you've got them here, the shareholder, director, leadership team, all these product services, operations, marketing, sales, finance, HR, admin, IT. You do need only one leader. You must have one leader of the team, of the business, and then you have leaders underneath that one person. So the way we do it is I am the visionary. We have what we call a number 2, who's then the rear operations of CEO type person, and then we have the leaders under that as well within Naylor. Each role just needs to be clear in the description, with normal sort of 10 key responsibilities. And so each responsibility should have a clear task and KPI flow. So we have KPIs for everyone, and the flow from it, what we need for the goals set against one person. Only ever one person has a goal set against them to achieve, or a step within the 90-day. If you give 2 people the responsibility, nothing happens. So you only have one. I've learned this from experience. So you say, oh, you 2 need to do this, then they'll both be busy and won't do it. But if you have one person, even if that person will get other people to do the work, they will make sure that work gets done, because they will be the one responsible for it. And just remember that nobody can manage more than about 5 people effectively. So create teams within each department. I mean, we do have some larger teams, but then we have sub-team leaders within that as well. So that's in my other business. Sorry, within that Naylor Accounting Service, we don't have any teams bigger than that. Review your structure regularly, and just update key responsibilities if they change. And basically what that means is keep your structure as a living, breathing document, and your team understands it. So that's why we re-showing our organizational chart because it has changed slightly, not massively. So we're letting everybody know what that is. Check in with your team regularly to ensure that they're doing alignments with the structure, and make sure that they have, if they have any changes in the team members, the roles of each performance review, if there's issues, and just sort of make sure that the right person is doing those new tasks and reassign to the correct person. So if you find out somebody's in the wrong seat or the wrong department, then look to change that, to another person to take ownership of that seat department. And just make sure you value the opinions and contributions of your entire team, which is what we do, especially in our leadership team, because, well, for me, I have my views, but I know that I have it from one perspective, and I need to hear everybody's, and then we make a joint decision on things for the way forward, because it just helps then also create that unity and everybody driving to that one vision and one goal, basically, whatever that is, that end plan in your business plan. But you do need a clear hierarchy, which is to stop the bottlenecks, which is why we show this, and we actually have in our own we show in our organizational chart. So I just need a bit of water. So step 6, be a better leader in yourself. And that means sort of involve working on your leadership skills and building a stronger workplace culture. And signs of a toxic workplace, that you've got to be careful of that. So definitely have it. So culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's Peter Drucker, very famous business writer. And it's a big thing. So if you ask yourself if your workplace is toxic, then the average person sort of spends more than 40,000 hours of their life at work. So that's a lot of time. And if the work environment isn't fun, and it's worse than that, then it's toxic, the workplace is generally going to sort of be an issue. So the signs of, so you want to make sure you're not seeing signs of a toxic workplace. One of it is a lack of trust. So between owners and the team, sense of us and them. Now, just on this one, and you guys, nobody has to do this, but what I do, I never call our team that work for Naylor or any of the other business employees, because that to me creates a them and us. I always call them team members, and I've written in my book as well, The Firm You Want, because I believe in team. So like a rugby team, a football team, hockey team, whatever that is, you all have to work together to win a game and to get forward. So they're not employees, they're team members. But it's just that's just a thing. No core values or people living them. So we need to have core values in the business, and they need to be relevant and also clear to everybody. So we have them. So ours is I care in Naylor Accountancy Service, which is integrity, care, accountability, respect, and excellence. So we have all those, and everybody knows those. They also have to talk about one of those once a week in our daily huddle with everyone. That should be today as well, that they've done one, because it's on a Wednesday. So that those are key. We may do a webinar on core values if people are interested in that, because it is quite a good topic to talk about, and there is a way of getting those if you don't have them. You will have them in your business. You may just not be aware of them, and your team members might not be aware of them either. So it's making everyone aware of it. After meetings. So what this means is those coffee and desk chats where team members, talk badly against the person who led the meeting that just happened. So you don't want that. You just want people to be open, and that goes back to the trust. So lack of trust. So you want people in your meetings to be open in those meetings, not just talking behind that. Highly stressful infrastructure are the norm, so as opposed to the exceptions. Obviously you get stressful times in any business, it just happens, but you don't want that to be the norm. So that's signs of a toxic team members, owners mistreating each other. So that's working in in a self-serving way instead of the benefit of the team. So this goes back to my looking at it as a team. So you don't want to be, people just, especially, if it's done behind team members' back, trying to further their career, whatever. And then you want everyone to work together. And so no team buy-in from the business on the core purpose and your goals, or just a complete absence of purpose and goals. So it is the fact that, like Drucker said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. We simply just can't afford to operate with toxic workplace, and it's an opportunity cost of not investing in a workplace culture is massive. So work on that culture, having core values, having your purpose, and making sure you're communicating. Communication is massive, and I know lots of you know this with your work colleagues, your team members. Be a better leader. This is step 6. So take an honest look through, just the next steps, but be a better leader and build a strong work culture. So to just take an honest look here. So use collaborative approach to set no more than 5 core values. So we have 5, like I said, it's I care. We do have in other business 7, but we wanted to have 5, but people did not want to get rid of 2. So one was have fun and one was growth. But we have I care. We still want to have fun within NAS anyway. Define your core purpose. So why does your business exist for your clients? And check out Simon Sinek's video, Start with the Why, on YouTube. So Simon Sinek did a TED talk years ago about starting with the why. His book, Start with the Why. He's written a few other amazing books already. And this is somebody I would recommend you read or listen to. But there's lots on YouTube, Simon Sinek, and it's just Start with the Why. He goes into why people should be thinking about their why being in business. Memorize and highly visible. So make the purpose and the core values visible. Basically, ensure team members has memorized them and hold each on the counter to living into them as well. So that's why we do go through our core values once a week. And the team members need to know what these are. And then align the team goals with the business plan. So break down your plan into goals and actions for each team member. There's some of the individual team goals. They'll basically deliver an overall plan. So that will help. And give recognition on team members for great performance. Now, I am bad at this because I just moved on to the next thing. So it's something that I really look to make an effort on. But I know there's lots of people that can do it better than me. But do really think about celebrating the successes. What we do in our annual review and also our quarterly is look at what the good things that have happened in the quarter, what the good things that have happened, like 3 good things, and the things that we've achieved in the last 3 in the year as well. So we look at that and talk about that as well, and also a personal one as well as 3 within the business. So what that does is it makes everyone think about it and focus on the good things that happened in the year as well, and their annual strategic planning meeting, to celebrate them as a leadership team. And then meet regularly. I call this in my book the rhythm of the business. So you do need a rhythm of the business, and just keep to it, even if you don't think there's any need to keep the meeting going. Meet on a regular basis, ensure everyone's supported effectively, and address minor issues and create solutions as you go along. And actively discover those after meetings that we spoke about, where people should contribute openly in the appropriate time. That's what we say, the trust comes in. You need to trust everybody, but you also need to, if you're annoyed or one of you is annoyed or thinks something shouldn't be that way, they need to say it. There's no point in them telling you or to someone else. Say it so everyone can hear it. And stop playing favorites. Give equal opportunity for your team members to grow and shine. Now, we've actually just had a bit of an issue in this month of business with one leadership person doing this. So this is where we need to just crack down on it, because it's not behavior that you'd want as a new person. You want everybody to have the equal opportunity for everything. And avoid being held ransom by toxic team members. I put employees here, but that's both team members, and have an open door opportunities for them. So what that means is you need to exit them if they are toxic. We did have that in Naylor at one point. They did exit themselves, but I would have had to have exit them. And people tend to know that when you get to that point, if they're not the right person, then they will actually exit themselves. But you need to be going down that route. You need to actually take that responsibility yourself as business owners. And have fun at work. So building fun and resilience is very good within a business. And, you know, the working week, it just helps people refresh and find flow easier and get back to work. And what we do just in Nail County, so once a month we have games, sort of a games hour or whatever. I think it's an hour, it might be slightly more, where it's all online because a lot of people work from home in the UK. And we always have a team in the Philippines as well. So they go online, and they create some games and stuff just to make it fun and get everyone interacting. And just to quote Henry Ford in relation to teamwork, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. So it's the working together is success. And that's critical for any business. And I know lots of you here will know that without the team, you wouldn't have a business, basically. So next one is getting someone independent to hold you to account. So there's only one way to ensure actions, and commitments get done, and that's give someone a nagging rights to follow up with you. So this is why you have personal trainers and everything like that, because they actually help you move things forward. If you're trying to do exercise, you may be good enough to do it yourself, and then you don't need that. So but people do help you move forward. So if you think about some 99% of people that approach New Year's and they make New Year's resolutions, they start with the ones they didn't achieve the last year normally. So similarly, and I've just said this, go to the gym regularly. Simply having a gym membership, it isn't enough. People have them and never go. So most personal trainers are primarily there to make sure that their client actually shows up. That's the more, because if they have one, they're going to show up. So without a personal trainer, it would be easier to put off the gym session and just sort of justify the decision below the line excuse, which is what I talked about, Orbit. We'll talk about that some other time. I'll do a video on that. So who are the best people to hold you to account? Again, using the sports analogy, to do successful teams want hard coaches or soft coaches. The answer's normally, is obviously it's the same. You don't want just the soft coaches, but we all need someone who can take a backbone to hold us firmly to account and dish out consequences to us of any failure. That's it's difficult to sort of do that. You also want a relationship, but you do need that. A life partner, friend, aren't normally hard enough. And to be honest with my wife, there's no way I can talk to my wife too much about my business or our businesses, just because she's got fed up a bit from the start because I used to talk too much about it. And also she has her own career in London, and they'll be more likely to let us off, but potentially, because they don't want to upset you if he is a friend or anything. And then on the other hand, a hard coach is not so much worried about upsetting us in the short term. They're simply being there, to stand there to make sure that you get achieving the results and want to achieve things. So great coaches, they do demonstrate more of the backbone, and they also demonstrate the heart that it's the care that we need to achieve the goals that we set. I do have a coach, and it does help me also have a leadership team that sets us all, we set each other to account as well. So that helps there as well. That's not to say that the soft, they are soft, and it does work. They aren't soft, should I say, but their approach should all be about getting to the achievement of the goals. And just have a think, who do you use as accountability coach? Is it your leadership team? Is it somebody external, or is it a friend or whatever? And you need that essential backbone and heart to make sure. And there's just a quote here from Tom Landry. So a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear and has you see, I don't know if I can, and has you see what, have you see, so that should have you see what you don't want to see, so you can be who you have always known you can be. So that's a mouthful. I hope you read that better than I did. Apologize there. So step 7, build a strong network. So most generate a vast majority of their new business from referrals. And that's a lot what we do in Naylor Accountancy Service. And the great thing about referrals is that they don't cost you anything. And the best place to gain new referrals is by networking with your existing clients and people you do business with. So, and that's basically step 8. So how can you maximize referrals? I mean, this may not fit to everybody's, business, but these are things to consider. There's the 5 ideas. Just, basically consider the life value of a new client. So just think about how much value they are. The average customer spends, say, $100 per visit, and they visit 5 times a year. In the restaurant, if it's a restaurant, that gross margin is 66%, and the customer generally keeps returning around 5 times a year. So the lifetime value of that would be 1,650. So I haven't got a chart here, so I apologize to go through it. So the value of that customer is what could give your customer and demonstrate how you appreciate their repeat business. Perhaps it's simply a complimentary drink or something, how you appreciate their repeat business, or they will certainly spread the word. I mean, you've got all this with the loyalty cards and things like that. So but it's just thinking of the lifetime value of your client. Then, or customer, identify the complementary business. So this is complementary with your service. So it's just looking at that and how we can focus. So I am overrunning, guys. I didn't think it would be quite so long in this, but I hope you bear with me. We've only got a couple left. Focus on how you work effectively together, or simply use time to be more sociable and have fun. But it's looking at them, how you can do it. So you might be work with lawyers, valuers, bankers, accountants, tradesmen, and just creating that informal group of people that you can talk to and sort of refer the people to. Give more referrals than you seek in return. Now, this is the law of reciprocity. So I can't say it. And if you tend to do that, then you will get them back yourself eventually as well. And find out where there are your target market hangs out. So find out where your target market hangs out, basically in great numbers. And that could be Rotary Club, Chambers of Commerce, conferences, things like that, and go to those as well. And then you've got non-profit organization and teams involved with, so sponsor and get involved with voluntary and non-profit organizations, because that might help. It could be a sports club. Don't peddle your wares, just be there to help, so people get to know your brand and your business. These are just 5 ideas, guys. It's nothing, these are just the building strong. I'm not going to go about this too much, but basically you need to monitor your progress to your targets. You need data collection, you need KPIs, you need performance indicators. It's just the KPIs, that's the key performance indicators. But you need to understand what are the drivers, what's influencing the business. And next is to work out how you'll measure it, because you need to make sure you measure it on a regular basis. Monthly, you definitely need to be measuring. And then from here, you need to use simple one-page reports like this is, just to see. It could be more, but at least have one page that so that you can just see visually what's happening and how you're doing, and you'd have that in potentially a monthly reporting meeting. And repeat these steps for individual team members with the KPIs, establishing them, and understanding the definition of what a great day's work looks to them, and then keeping them to account. So these are just some more there. So step 10, keep your well of happiness full. So here we've got a quote: life is short, smile while you still have teeth. Smile while you still have teeth. So it is, make sure that you're enjoying what you do, because that will help you. So it just helps everybody going along, and it's a massive thing. It's the oxygen mask basically on yourself, and just make sure that you are looking after things in yourself, and it makes you then look after everything else within the business. And just think about the things that fill your well of happiness, and these are activities that restore your energy and resilience levels. And for me, it's actually exercise. I exercise every morning. I do my taekwondo. That's a big thing for me for happiness and feeling good, and also with having time with family. It could be flamenco dancing, yoga, mountain biking, anything like that. Reading books, waking in the forest. And this is going back to the 3 steps, the 3 things that you really want from life and stuff as well, the personal ones. And then just make sure that you do them. So of course, you have time. You have just as many hours in the day as Einstein, Helen Keller. You just need to choose what you're spending your time on, and on these happiness activities. So just make a list of activities that make you happy. I mean, it's very simple, this, and then just don't put off doing them, because you don't have time. Make time for them. Get up earlier to do them if it's exercise or stretching or anything like that, or do it in front of the TV at night. That's just one thing I do anyway. So just giving that as an example. And just make a commitment to spend at least 1 hour per day doing things that you want to have listed on that you've got listed there, and just keep a log of everything and the time you do things, and in a journal. Now I do it in my Outlook journal calendar, so I put lots of stuff in there just so I know what I do. I split it up with 15 minutes so I can actually see what I do every 15 minutes of a day, work day, and also just put home stuff in as well, as much as I can. So just summarizing the 10 steps. So get clear on exactly what you want. Be open to change and new learning. Define where you are now, what's and all. So let's be honest with yourself. Make a plan. Have it one page, but have it on 2 sides. And then get your organizational structure right. So that was the 10 hats. Make sure that's correct. Be a better leader. So build a stronger workplace culture. That's the purpose of your business and also your core values. Get someone independent to hold you to account. That can be a leadership team, and also they're not independent, obviously, but somebody outside of which is more independent. Build a strong network. As referrals and everything. Monitor your progress. That's reporting. You must have that with KPIs and financials. And keep your well of happiness full. So those are the 10 things, and I do apologize, I've overrun by 9 minutes already. But there are 10 steps that, how can we help you? So I'm just going to go through these, but we can help you with a business plan. So we are able to help you with a 1-page business plan within our team. Cash flow forecasts, if you need the forecast and everything, we can help with those. And we will talk more about these in other webinars, but the inflows and outflows of cash, a monthly basis or quarterly, it's good to know what they are. quarterly coaching. We do offer that. Now, if you look at our, and that's sort of like a virtual financial directors, because we obviously on the finance side, we look at things as holistically, but we have a finance brain on us as accountants. Now, that's on the top of our pyramid that we have that we're looking to do. So if you look at our homepage and their accountancy services, you can see our pyramid. It goes up to the sort of FD and then coaching. So that's what we do offer. And complimentary client reviews meetings. So that's basically where you sit with us and we look at to offer all our clients once a year a review of the business goals and everything, and then tie them into your personal goals and identify where you are facing establishments. But there is pre-work for this if you do this, and you must do it or we can't have the meeting basically, because you waste time in these meetings otherwise. And then we have a proactive accounting meeting. It's similar to complementary, but it's anyone who's not currently at a client of Nero Accountancy. We sort of do that. Again, there's pre-work for these. And guys, if you do these, you must do it, because otherwise we can't do it, because we need to know more about you before we go in there. And also makes you think about certain things as well. But whatever you need help with, just remember, it's likely you'll need to stretch and get out of your comfort zone, because the only way you can actually get better is by moving yourself out of that comfort zone. And that's where that magic happens. You know, I'm constantly pushing myself out. I'm doing talks at the moment, and that's not in my comfort zone. And not this one particularly, but into live audiences, and I'm pushing that out. So actions and projects. One of the biggest problems is FTI. So I love this, failure to implement. So I hope you've written down at least 3 actions. Make sure that you take action. So get started now. I mean, that's the whole thing, because it's a big thing to write them down, but it's a bigger thing to do. So you need to write down 3 actions. I've just said that, and then a problem is an opportunity to create a project. So we actually do this. We call it, we discuss issues, and then we create a solution. So that creates potentially a project if it's a big problem. And doing nothing shouldn't be an option, because if you do need to do something, it's best to do it. And the picture there says, let the adventures begin. So any questions, guys? I'm going to stop sharing now. So I don't know if you can see me. I hope you can. But if you've got any questions, do let me know. I'm going to just see if there are any in there, but you can put me in Q&A or chat me directly. But what I'll just say is some of the books that I would recommend, guys, are Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Effective People. That is an amazing book. And he brings in it what's called the Eisenhower Matrix, which is a really good one to look at what you're doing. So it's got 4 different quadrants. I'm not going to go into it now. Well, that's worth knowing, but the 7 habits are really good. One of them is learning. So that was one of our 10 steps as well. So continuous learning. So that's definitely one to be looking at. And then creating, how do you create core values? I mean, that's a question that we get a lot. Now, we have got a method of doing that, and we can help people with that. But I'm looking at doing a webinar as well, so that might give you a bit more insight into it. I can't remember if we have got that in our schedule right now, but it's something that we are looking into. But it's definitely worth doing that. And there's lots of, if you're interested in the core values, just message myself, and then we can sort of give you some information on it as well. Business plan. Is it possible to get all on one page? Now, the answer to that is we do it on, we try and do it on one page, but we normally get it on 2. It is one page, but it's on both sides. So printed on both sides. The reason for that is you can carry around one page. So it's a lot easier to make sure you keep on top of it. I'm just seeing questions. I think I've just lost the questions now. What's happened? So then The other one is just another book that's worth reading as business owners. It's just Traction by Gino Wickman. Now, we actually run our business on EOS, which is Entrepreneur's Operating System. So that's how we operate. We create the rhythm of a business. There is my book as well, The Firm You Want, but it is directed more to accountants. But and I'm looking at rewriting it so that it is for business owners as well, any business. But it's very simple, very practical, and there's lots of stuff in there as any business that you can just take from. But the Traction, The Firm You Want, it's available on Amazon if you do want to have a look at that. But it's at the moment in Kindle, it's very cheap at the moment. I'll put it at the cheapest price, but we are looking to increase that at some point. Any other questions, guys? I know we're running out, so I can't see any questions in there or chat. So what I'd say is look out for our other webinars. The next one is getting paid is the next one in March. If there's any that you might want yourself, you think would be good to do, just let us know, and then we can look and see if we can include them or create something content on the back of it. And have a good Wednesday. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.